What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've actually got a little bit of a different video because I actually saw this thing come across my Instagram the other day by a user by the name of OKC Access, who has about 14.5 thousand followers on Instagram. Pretty incredible. But they've actually gone on to post something that I found to be really interesting. It's actually a really cool mock trade that I thought I'd share with you guys. That is one of the first mock trades where I could actually see all three teams, coming out of this a winner. Again, as I said, there is three teams involved in this, and those teams include the Cleveland Cavaliers, Philadelphia 76ers, and OKC. So basically, what OKC would receive would actually be Cleveland Cavaliers forward Kevin Love and a third overall pick from the Cleveland Cavaliers as well. The Philadelphia 76ers would receive Kemba Walker from OKC, 2022 first round pick via the Los Angeles Clippers, and a 2023 second round pick swap from OKC. And then the Cleveland Cavaliers, who I think is probably going to be the biggest winner of this deal, would actually receive Ben Simmons, the 6th overall pick, OKC's 36th overall pick, and a 2023 second round pick via Denver. Now, I'm absolutely in love with this trade because even though I think the Cleveland Cavaliers desperately need to go and select Jalen Green, I actually think this is one of the only trade scenarios where this might actually work more in favor for them, because for those of you who didn't know as well, there is a player in the late first round pick that it is highly rumored that the Cleveland Cavaliers would actually be interested in, and he goes by the name of, he's an Auburn point guard named Sharif Cooper. Basically, if you didn't know, he actually averaged 20.2 points per game, 8.1 assists. He plays at Auburn. Again, he's actually really good mates with Cleveland Cavaliers forward Isaac Okoro, so he is actually a really nice player who is projected to go again at the end of the first round. The reason why is because of his age. His height might be a little bit of a concern as well, but he's a really nice prospect. And the reason I like this trade again for the Cleveland Cavaliers before I get on to anything else is the Cavs pretty much bring in a power forward who they really haven't had a power forward in a long time. I mean, the Cavs starting power forward for most of this year was Dean Wade. Last year it was Kevin Love, and the year before that it was pretty much Larry Nance. They have a different power forward every year just due to the fact of Kevin Love's injuries. Again, I do expect Kevin Love to have a breakout year this season. But again, if he gets traded to OKC, I think OKC would actually really like to bring on a player like Kevin Love, because if they really want to keep the ball in SGA's hands, a player like Kevin Love would actually be really nice to have. Again, I'm assuming Kevin Love would probably play power forward. If they couldn't bring in a center in free agency, they'd probably roll with him at, center maybe, and, have Baisley as that kind of power forward option. So I could maybe see that happening. But again, when I was getting onto that Sharif Cooper type of situation, again, the reason why I kind of like this as well is because if the Cavs are so interested in selecting him pretty much late in the first round, it was rumors he was supposed to go on pick 20 or something like that. Of course, who actually knows if that, is going to happen. But if he does fall, the Cavs will be in a pretty much prime spot to try and get him now, as they will have that pick 36 and a future second round pick. And they've already got a bunch of future second round picks in the future who they could all, of course, trade to, try and move up to get him. Plus, I think if the Cavs were to get the 6th pick, I actually think they would move down another time. I think they would actually move down to pick 10 and try and actually bring in a shooter. Who that would be is, of course, going to be, a little bit of a mystery. There are definitely a lot of good, shooters at that, kind of 10th to 20th spot. So they could probably try and bring in one through there. And of course, I'm sure they could get, maybe some more assets in for this, of course, 6th overall pick if they would decide to, kind of trade down. So I think, that makes the most amount of sense for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think this trade would actually be really nice for them. Yes, they don't bring in, a potential all-star, probably like what you might be able to get from, Jalen Green. But of course, I think they bring in so many assets here that it's probably very hard to go, against this. Again, a player that would be available at that 10th overall pick would actually be Corey Kispert, who's a small forward, 22 years of age. literally nearly average 20 points per game. He would actually be really nice for this Cavs team off the bench as well to add in some shooting. I think how this, of course, works for Philadelphia, I think Philadelphia, you know, they finally get rid of Ben Simmons, who has been just not great for them in the playoffs, and they can bring in a dude like, of course, Kemba Walker, who is ready to prove himself again back on a contending team where he'll have the ball in his hands. Again, I'm not exactly too sure if Kemba would be the perfect play, because I think they need more of a playmaker than a shooter, or a shot creator rather. But you know what? Why not just go with it, see how it goes maybe for a season. And then of course that first round pick and second round pick helps to try and trade for some other role players here and there. But of course I definitely think Kemba Walker can get back to that all-star form, whether that's going to be on OKC or maybe even the Philadelphia 76ers in this trade. And then I think OKC, who, I think the Cavs are probably the winners. I think Philadelphia would get the worst out of this because Kemba's a very big question mark at the moment. But I definitely think OKC would contend with the Cavs on winning this trade. Of course, they're giving up a bunch of, first round picks here and there. But the thing is, I think you can afford that to move up to that third overall pick where you can bring in a potential dude like, of course, Jalen Green to partner up with SGA. And then you get the ball back in SGA's hands instead of it being in, Kemba's hands. And then you bring in a really nice veteran like Kevin Love who they can try and boost his value. Whether they play him as the, center or whether they just make him play as the power forward would ultimately be the question, I suppose. But I definitely think OKC come out of this a kind of in a good situation. The issue again I see is I think the Cavs, this is the year that they need to take a dude, with that, the third overall pick, get in a really nice talent, and then I think you go back to the draft again next year. Whether they trade Colin Sexton and whatnot would be, it's going to come down to the wire, I think, on how they make their decision about this. But I just think Jalen Green is too good to go past if you're a Cleveland Cavaliers fan. I just think you gotta select him, right? But, again, who even knows how they, of course, are going to look at this. Will OKC, want to potentially make this trade happen? I think they would as well. I think, again, the Philadelphia 76ers as well have a pretty big question mark. But, again, I think this has been one of the coolest mock trades that I've seen in a while. So I just thought I would discuss this with you guys and, get all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. Whether or not you guys think this would be a fair trade for all three teams. If you guys think maybe a certain team would lose. Definitely all let me know, in the comment section down below. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for all the latest sports content and news. Don't forget to subscribe, to my gaming channel, EmmaIRL/vlogging channel. So don't forget to check out my podcast as well, if you haven't already, which I will link in the description down below. But as I was saying, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.